Banu, it's 6:40. I think we are good to go. I will be starting the recording.
Okay.
Give me a minute. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Harsha. So, hello, guys. Hope you are doing well. Okay. Let's start the session. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second session of Android Strategy Jams. And myself, Baniteja from third year CSE, is here to facilitate you with this Android Strategy Jams program. So, everyone, are you ready for the session? Okay. Now, tell me how many of you have installed Android Studio. So, let me know in the chat box. Okay. Okay, well, so from this session onwards, we are going to work with Android Studio only. So it's mandatory to install it. So if anyone have doubts regarding in the installation, you can contact us. And who have installed Android Studio, you can simultaneously work with me, or else you can work by taking our recording as reference as we upload this recording in YouTube by this night. So let's get started. Yeah. So now look at today's schedule. So we'll be having a presentation. In the meanwhile, we'll be discussing about OOPS concepts as we missed it in our last session, and also developing some apps like Hello World. It's our first Android app, and then birthday card app and dice roll app. Yeah. Let's recap what we discussed in our last session. So we discussed about Android introduction of Android development and introduction of Android study jams, also overview of Android Studio and some basics of Kotlin. Yeah. So these are the OOPS concepts that we are going to discuss now, like class and object, constructor, inheritance, interface, and exceptional handling. So now let's go to Kotlin Playground and discuss these concepts in Kotlin. Yeah, yeah. Now let's see how to define a class in Kotlin. So this topic comes under OOPS concepts, and by the definition of OOP, a class is a blueprint of a runtime entity, and object is its state. So which includes both behavior and state. So in Kotlin, class declaration consists of a class header and a class body surrounded by curly braces. It is similar to Java. So in Kotlin, object is a special class that we have one instance. So if you create a class with the object keyword instead of class, the Kotlin compiler makes the constructor private. So it creates a static reference for the object. So we can create an object using the reference of the class. So here an instance is created to access the methods or functions or whatever we declare like variables. So let's see an example of class. So let's define a class A. It has a variable like name, maybe a string like EDSC. Then this class also has some method like hello. This print a statement like hello name. So now let's define our main function. So let's create an object here, val some object obj of class A. So we can so here we can access this hello method using this object as object dot hello method. So let me rewrite this object dot hello. So it prints a statement called hello and name. So let's run our program. Yeah, hello GDSC. Okay, then now we'll discuss about constructor in Kotlin. So a constructor is a special member function that is invoked when an object of class is created. So primarily to initialize variables or properties. So a class needs to have a constructor, and if we don't declare a constructor, then the compiler generates a default constructor. So in Kotlin, we have two different types of constructors. One is primary and other is secondary. So now let's discuss about primary constructor. So yeah, a class in Kotlin can have at most one primary constructor and one or more secondary constructor. So the primary constructor initializes to the class, while the secondary is used to initialize the class and introduce some extra logic. So primary constructor is used to initialize the class. So it is declared at class header. So primary constructor code is surrounded by parentheses with other parameters. So let's now define a class A. It has some parameters, which is also known as a constructor, some val name of type string, and val id of type int. So this class has a method, some b. It prints some statement like hello. Now let's define our main function. Create an object, val obj of class A has two parameters like some name like GDSC of type string and ID of type in some file. Let's call the method B using this object. So now let's run. Yeah, hello is being printed. So let's access these two variables, name and ID. So that can be done like this. So let's print some name equals. So similar to objects of normal class, you can call the methods and other properties by using the dot notation or dot operator in Kotlin. So let's see that equals to, sorry, dollar flower braces object dot name. Let's run. Yeah, name equals to GDSC. Let's now print some ID equals dollar flower braces object dot ID. Yeah, ID equals to 5. Okay, this is primary constructor. Now let's see about secondary constructor. So in Kotlin, secondary constructor can be created more than in one class. So the secondary constructor is created using the constructor keyword. So let's see an example of secondary constructor. Let me define a class A. So we should use this constructor keyword. So it has two parameters, name of type string and id type int. So let me print those. Name and id. Also this class has a method b. It prints a statement. Hello. Now let's define our main function. So let's create an object obj which is equals a of a is in class, has two parameters, some gdsc, some id, some 7. So now let's call our method using this object. So when an object is created, the constructor is called by default. So this constructor is called and it prints this two statements like name and id. Also when we call the object, this statement like hello is being printed. So let's see. Yeah. uh, Name is gdsc and id is 7, and when the function is called, hello is being printed. Yeah, now let's discuss about inheritance. So inheritance is an important feature of OOPS concepts. So inheritance always allows to inherit the future of existing class, that is parent class, to new class, that is child class. So the main class is called superclass, and the class which inherits the superclass is called subclass. So subclass contains features of superclass as well as its own. So you in Kotlin, the derived class inherits a base class using a colon operator in the class header. So all classes are final by default. To permit the derived class to inherit from base class, we must use the open keyword in front of the base class. So let's define our base class, open class, some a. It has a variable some x, value some 40. Now let's implement our sorry. Now let's derive our child class some b, which is inherited from base class a. Then this class has a function some a, which prints the variable x, which is present in the base class a. So now let's define our main function. Let's create two objects for both the classes, like c of class c is an object of class b, and some d of a. Now let's call the function hey. So let's try to execute. Yeah, 40 is being printed here when we call our hey method here. So next I will print the variable x using this object. So dollar flower braces d dot some x. Yeah, 40 is being printed. So this is about inheritance. Now let's discuss about interfaces in Kotlin. So interfaces are custom types provided by Kotlin that cannot be instantiated directly. So instead, these define a form of behavior that implementing types have to follow. So with the interface, you can define a set of properties and methods that concrete types must be followed and implemented. So interface definition in Kotlin begins with interface keyword only, and then followed by curly braces. Also, it has some function definitions in it. So let's define interface. Some A. It has the function definitions like some function B and function C. Then this interface A can be implemented by a class or an object. So when implementing an interface, the conforming type must be provided the definition for all its members. To implement an interface, the name of custom type is followed by a colon. So let's see that. Let me declare a class some D colon. A. So A is an interface, and implementation of interface goes like this. So now in this class D, let me override both the methods B and C, which was present in the interface. So override fun B. This prints a statement. Hello. Let's override fun some C. This prints a statement. Hey. So yeah. Now let's define our main function main. So let's create an object obj of class D. So let me access the override methods present in the class. So B and C. Yeah. Hello and hey are being printed when we call these two methods using the object of class D. So now let's discuss about exceptional handling. So this is our last topic in OOPS concepts. So what is an exception? So an exception is an unwanted event which occurs during the execution of program, that is at runtime, and also that describes the normal flow of programs instructions. So exceptional handling is a technique using which we can handle errors, also prevent runtime crashes. So there are two types of exceptions. One is checked exceptions and unchecked. So what are checked exceptions that are typically set on methods and checked at compile time. So the examples of checked exceptions are IO exception and file not found exception. So unchecked exceptions. So these exceptions that are generally due to logical errors and checked at runtime. For example, null pointer and array index out of bound exception. So we'll be having a try catch blocks to handle an exception. So in Kotlin, we use a try catch block for exceptions. So try block encloses the code which is responsible for throwing an exception, and catch is used for handling the exception. So let's look at the example of both try and catch. So define a main function, write try keyword. So in this, let me declare a variable a which gives a value 20 divided by 0. So we know that this variable is undefined as it is divided by 0, and also this error or exception is known as arithmetic exception. So this gives an exception in my program. So let me catch that exception in catch block. Sorry, arithmetic exception. So if the exception is occurred, so the exception will be stored in a variable e, and let me print that e. So let's try to execute it. Yeah, we can see here java.lang.arithmetic exception, that is divided by 0 error. So exception is catched in this catch block and it is being printed. So we also have a finally block in Kotlin. So finally block is always executes irrespective of whether an exception is occurred or not. So it is used to execute the important code statement. So let me write finally. This finally block brings a statement. So finally block always executes. So let me try to print. Yeah, yeah, finally blocks always executes irrespective of error occurred or not. So that's all with our oops concepts. So now let's start with our first Android app, that is Hello World app. Yeah, so let's get started with this Hello World app. So let's open Android Studio now for creating an app. So this is an this is Android Studio. So let me create a new project. Yeah, yeah, these are the
Banu, sorry. Hello.
yeah,
Hello. Sorry to cut you. Just want to know if anyone has any doubts.
okay, yeah,
Let me know in the chat, like if anyone has any doubts in the OOPS concepts. Okay, go ahead, Banu. Sorry for
okay,
that.
thank you. Yeah, so these are the different templates we have in our Android Studio. So we can directly use these templates. So if you wanna create a login app, uh, instead of creating a whole user interface, you can easily click on this template, and you can directly use your login app user interface. So there are also other templates like Google Maps, navigation, settings, scrolling, so and more. So for now I will be selecting a blank template, that is empty activity, and click on next. Yeah, so this window will open. So you can write your app name here, and then followed by package name. So leave the package name as default. So this is location, so where you wanna store your application in your local storage. So also we have language. So it will ask to choose any language to write your backend. So there are two languages we can use, like Java and Kotlin. So we'll be using Kotlin. Yeah. So next is SDK. So Android SDK is a collection of libraries and software tools that are essential for developing Android applications. So whenever Google releases a new version, so a corresponding Android SDK will also releases with it. So this list identifies which application program interface you want to develop for this project. So when you select this Lollipop, for example, so you can build and test your app on devices going up to Lollipop. So doing so always so it allows you to develop with Lollipop application program interface only. So this include new features such as material design look also. So if you are yeah, so now let's look at yeah, this is the latest Android version 12.0 named as S. So also there are versions like Jelly Bean. So we used long before, maybe some 7 to 8 years back. So you can check this Jelly Bean. It will run on 100% of total Android devices. So let's see the latest version. Yeah, you can see here your app will run on less than 1% of devices. So now I will choose a minimum SDK version of API 21, that is Android Lollipop, which runs on 98% of devices. So also it's not an latest one, but also not an older one too. So click on Lollipop and finish. So yeah, wait for a while. The Gradle build is being run. It takes up to some 2 to 3 minutes to successfully install all the files and Gradle build system. So in the meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you can comment in the chat box. Yeah, I think the Gradle build is completed. Mhm. Yeah, guys, and this is an overview of Android Studio, as we already discussed about them, and I will repeat them once again. So here are manifest file. So this is where you put your manifest files. So most of the Android apps have a single manifest file. Yeah. So this manifest file .xml is generated inside manifest folder by Android Studio when you create a project. So this file contains the configuration parameters of projects, such as parameters, and also this manifest file also provides information to operating system and Google Play Store. Next is this Java folder. So yeah, so this Java folder in your project, where this is present in your project, so where you will be storing all the source code files which are written in Kotlin or Java. So this main activity dot kt is automatically created in the folder, in this Java folder, by Android Studio. So all of our classes will be available here, and Android Studio will even bundle together the package path so that you can work with the files. Also here are res folders. So this folder res contains some folders that help you to separate and sort the resources of your application. So resources basically mean all the needed files except the source code. So for example, while developing an app, you need to include some resource files such as app logo, photos, sounds, or videos. So each file type should be added to its own folder to comply with the Android development standards. So let's see the inner folders. In this res, we'll be having a drawable folder. So it contains the graphics that can be drawn to the screen. Example like image files and various XML files. So and this is an predetermined frame animations. Also, the frames can also be placed here. Yeah, these are the animations. Now let's see our layout folder, and this folder contains XML files used for creating layouts. Yeah, so these files are used to set up the layout for your activity, and it is used to for basic alignment of your layouts and components, widgets, and similar resources that are used for user interface of your application. So this activity main.xml is automatically created by Android Studio. So this layout folder may have multiple layout folders to handle different devices. Next is our map folder. So this folder contains the launcher icon files. Let me show you. Yeah, this is the launcher icon file. So this launcher icon file is a graphic that represent your app to the users. So next, this map folder was introduced in Android 4.3 version. So next is values folder. Yeah, this folder contains XML files that contain simple values such as strings, integers, colors, and more. So the values folder is used to keep track of values you will be using in your app. So instead, place values in XML files so inside of a values folder. So when you create a new project with the Android Studio, then these following XML files will be generated automatically. Let's see some colors. Yeah, these are the colors, and this is HTML code for color white, black, some teal, purple. Also, we can see the strings.xml file. Yeah, string name is so app name. So my app name is my application. So next is our Gradle scripts. So APK files are built using this Gradle build system. So this system is integrated with Android Studio, and when we start an app, the Gradle build scripts are automatically created. So if you have special requirements for your project, you can specify these requirements here. So the Gradle scripts folder contains the scripts used to build the app, like configuration files, properties, and settings, like dependencies. Yeah, also the SDK version, that is 31 dependencies here. So now let's go to main activity.xml. So here we see a window called a palette. So what does this palette mean? So this palette contains various different views that we can drag onto the design editor. So this represents the display of Android device. So it is the point of interaction between app and user. So this palette contains some text, buttons, and widgets, layouts, container, and more. So what is text? This text contains predefined text views for different types of inputs, such as text view, plain text, password, email, phone. So next is button. So this represents a widget that registers when the screen is touched within its bound. So some of the examples are checkbox, radio group, radio button, toggle button, switch, and more. Next is these are the different widgets like progress bar, seek bar. Now let's see the different layouts. So layout defines a visual structure for a user interface, so such as UI for an activity. So examples of layouts are constraint layout, linear layout. There are two types of linear layout: horizontal and vertical frame layout. So table layout also. Next, we are able to see this component tree window. So what is this component tree? So it shows the hierarchy of components in your layout. So this is my design editor. So this design editor consists of a constraint layout as well as a text view, that is hello world. So also we can see uh, the attributes window here. So this attribute, so Android Studio supports a variety of XML attributes in the tools namespace that enable design time features, like we can see like layout width, height, and some scale, translation, some text. These are the different attributes like background color, background tint. So now let's see this editor. Yeah, this editor consists of a constraint layout. So you know what is a constraint layout, right? You can place any views at any place as you want. So there is a text view here. So also we can see the code, XML code split. Yeah, this is a constraint layout. So inside constraint layout, I'm having a text view of text hello world. So its height and width are set to wrap content. You know what is wrap content, right? So also this text view has constraints. So we are able to see this constraints here, right? From four sides of this view. So what are the constraints are so the constraints are used to determine the position of user interface of an element within the layout. So a constraint represents a connection or alignment to other view. So whether it's the parent layout or some invisible guideline. So you can create the constraints manually. So just we can say like the view to be visible on screen. So we'll be using this constraint, so it will just be visible on screen if the constraint at least constrained about some two sides. So I'll try to remove this constraint. Yeah, it falls to down, right? So to the view to be present on this design editor or in your user interface, we need to constrain uh, a view or a layout, whatever maybe that we drag into our layout design. So now let's start our emulator. So to do that, we need to click here. So I already installed my previous device like Pixel. So I'll create a new device. So let me delete my old device. So let me create a virtual device. So select a phone. So these are the different models phones offered by Google. So click any one of them. So I'll click some Pixel XL. Next, yeah, these are the different versions of an Android. So click on any one of those, but your app will run only on that version of device only. So you choose the latest version of Android at any instance. So that it will support your latest mobile phones. So let me select our version and click on next. So yeah, you can also give your AVD name uh, as your wish. So click on finish. So let me run this emulator. So we'll be waiting for it to install.
Those people who are using i3 laptop, they can connect their phone instead of using emulator,
Yeah.
so that there won't be any additional burden on the processor. You can contact Bono about how to connect the emulator, like physical device.
So as you can see, this is my emulator. So let it be installed. So let's wait for a few more minutes. Okay. So as you can see, my emulator is installed. So let me run the app. So Gradle build is running. App is being installed. Yeah, guys. So the app is installed. So this is our first Android app, guys. So that is Hello World. So this user interface has a constraint layout. So inside constraint layout, we'll be having a text view representing the text Hello World. So this is our first app. So now we'll be creating a birthday card app. So let me do that. So in the same way, Let me click on new. uh, Click on new project. Yeah, select an empty activity. Hmm, yeah, give your name, then click on finish. Yeah, let the files being built. Gradle build is running. So it always takes much time in order to Gradle build system. So be patient. So this is our birthday card app. So as we can see the user interface in this app, so like this, and we had an idea that in order to get this UI we need to add an image at the background, right? So to do that, yeah, the Gradle build is finished. So to do that, first image, let me show that. Yeah, here is an image which I have downloaded from CodeLab. Yeah, so you can download your image by clicking on this link. You can download it from GitHub. So Harsha, you please provide the link in the chat box.
Done, Banu.
Okay,
Also,
so
can you please decrease the pace? Like someone wants to decrease the pace a bit slower.
okay, so I will now copy this image. Let me copy this. So, and I'll be pasting that in this drawable folder. So paste. Sorry, I will rename this. It shouldn't have any spaces. So let me copy this. Let me delete the earlier one. Yeah. So now, so as we know, why is this drawable folder is there for? So it is used to import any images, like any videos or sounds, whatever we can. So now let me open this XML file. So you can see here's there is a text. So let me delete this text view. So now I will drag an image view to my layout editor. So select my birthday card image, select, drag it over here. So first, as we know, we should constrain it. Let me constrain horizontally and vertically in parent. Parent is a constraint layout, so I have constrained it to this layout. Yeah, we can see the image over here. So but it's not same as in our presentation, right? So this image is only half of the size in overall layout. So but we want to fit it to lay out all the sites as per our presentation. So to do that, let me change the scale type of this image in the attribute window. So scale type, change the scale type to center crop. Yeah. So you can also select other attributes like fill start, fill end, and check how the scale type attribute is being worked. So center inside, fit in some, fit center. So yeah, now I'll select center crop. Then yeah, as per our user interface, we should present this text upon this image view. So drag to plain text views over this image view. So let me drag a text view over here. So let me constrain it horizontally and vertically. Let me drag it over here. Mhm. Let me increase the size, text size, 30 sp. Yeah, yeah. So as we see here, this text view has a text like "Happy Birthday, Sam." So let me write that. So text is, I will erase it. I will write "Happy Birthday, Sam." Enter. Yeah, let me drag it over here. Yeah, "Happy Birthday, Sam." You see, right? So let me also make this text as bold, textile, textile as bold, apply. Yeah. Also, I'll add one more text view. So firstly, constraint it, then drag it over here. So increase the size of this text view to some 30 sp. Text as we see here from Emma on enter. From Emma also, we'll make this as bold, bold apply. Yeah. So our user interface of this app is finished. So let me run my emulator. Let's see what happens. Gradle build is running. So also I will select the gravity of this text. Let me select the gravity to the right side, quite right. So apply. Yeah, from Emma. So this text is converted to right side. So let me run one more time as I made some changes. Yeah, so this is our app. So also you can create a simple birthday card app and send it to your friends on their birthdays. So this is all about birthday card app. So now let's get started with our next app. So that is Dice Roll app. So the intention of this app is that when we click the roll button over here, so that dice will roll and gives a random number as our output. So we can easily use this app while you're playing any homely games like Ludo, Business, whatever they may be. So let's see how to develop this app. So now let me, in the same way, let me click on new project. I'll select empty activity, click on next, finish. Gradle build is running. So now for this, I have different images. So let me show you. Yeah, these are the different six images. So which was downloaded from Code Lab. Harsha, you can please provide this link to also.
Yeah, done, Banu. I pinned the message.
Okay. Yeah, you can download from this URL. Yeah. So in the same way, let me copy these six images. Let me copy, then paste in my drawable folder. Yeah, these are the six images as you can see. So yeah, this is one, two, three, four, six. So these are the different images I have. So yeah, let me delete this text hello world. Yeah, now I'll add an image view. Let me select one of my image, suppose dice one. Let me decrease the size of this and let me constrain it. Let me drag it over here. Okay, now as per our UI, we need to add a button roll also. So let me do that. So add a button over here, uh, constrain it. Yeah, so as we see, the name of the button is roll. So let me set the text of this button to roll. Yeah, roll. So our UI part is completed. So let's go to main activity.kt file. So yeah, here we have an onCreate method. So what is this onCreate method is? onCreate method is called by the operating system when the activity is first created. So this is where you initialize any user interface elements or any data objects. So you also have the saved instance state of the activity that contains its previously saved state. So and you can use this to recreate the state. So there is a function like set content view below or an on create method. So the intention of this set content view is the layout main activity. This is the layout. So this will be set into the content uh, when the application is being created. So after when this method on create is called, so this will set this xml file uh, to its content. So now here let me declare two variables like where some button, it's of type button, equal to, I'll write find view by id or dot id dot button. Yeah, my id of this button is button. So what is this find view by id is? So find view by id finds a view that was identified by the Android id xml attribute that was processed in onCreate. So this find view by id finds a view that was identified by the id attribute from the xml layout resource. So this is the id of this button role. So this is identified. So and this button will be stored in this variable button. So let me also create other variable, some dice image, which is of type image view. Let me find r.id dot image view. So next let me set in on click listener to this button. So on click listener, it's one of the most usable methods in Android, that is set on click listener method. So it helps us to link a listener with certain attributes. So set on click listener is a method in Android basically used with buttons, image buttons, etc. So you can instantiate this method easily like set on click listener. So let me create that button dot set on click listener. Yeah, so I'll just create this on click. So now let me create a function that is role. Okay, some function role. So this function role is of type int. Hello Arsha.
Banu, go ahead, Banu.
Put sound Tirendra.
Just a
Okay, I'll
minute, guys.
continue. So let me declare a function role of type int. So this function returns a number from 1 to 6 as a random. So dot random. Okay, so this is a method random which generates a number from 1 to 6. So this is being generated, and this number from a random number from 1 to 6 is sent when the function role is called. So let me call that function role, yeah, and store that number in a variable num. So yeah, if the number this number is 1, so I'll set the dice image to 1. So else if the number is 2, I'll set the dice image to 2. So in the same way I'll do that. So let me write an if else block. If num equal to 1, let me set the image resource as dice image 1, this image. So let me do that. So how can I do that? Dice image dot set image resource. Yeah, image resource as or dot drawable dot dice one. So yeah, this is a drawable folder as we pasted the 6 images in this drawable. So I'm accessing the drawable dot dice one image if the number is 1. So in the same way, let me write else if num is 2. uh, let me I'll set the dice image 2. So in the same way, if it is 3, I'll set the dice image to 3. If the number is 4, I'll set the dice image to 4. So if it's 5, I'll set the image to 5. So I'll write an else block here. Else I'll set the dice image to 6. So these are the images that we have here. You can see in drawable. So yeah, we have completed with this if else block. So now let's try to run my emulator. The Gradle build is running. So let's wait till the app is installed. Yeah, it's being installed. Let's wait. Yeah, let me drag my button little down. Uh, I'll execute again. Yeah, you can see this is our dice roll app. So let's try to roll. Yeah, again roll. Yeah, random number from 1 to 6 is being generated here. So it's nice, right? So you can use this app while you're playing any games at your home. So so that's all for the session, guys. So sorry for the bullet bundy song. So thank you, guys. So stay tuned for session 3. It will be interesting with developing apps like tip calculator and some recycler view app. So thank you, guys. So Harsha, over to you.
Hi everyone, thank you for attending the session. Anyone has any doubts, queries, or any feedback? Anyone want to speak something? Let me know in the chat. I will give you the host access. They can take the stage.